The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Cariol Horne was a police officer in Buffalo, New York, until she was fired for trying to stop a colleague's chokehold and punching of a suspect in the face while she was on the scene. Now, it's been more than a decade since it happened, and her case has now been overturned. She was eventually fired for trying to stop another officer from attacking a suspect. Then that officer punched her in the face. We speak with her on The Factor tonight. And Cariol Horne joins us here on The Factor Uncensored. Glad to have you here on The Factor. Tell us a little bit about your story for those who are not familiar.
Okay, in 2006, I responded to an officer in trouble call. When I got there, the officer was the one that was abusing the person whose name is Neil Mack. Neil Mack was handcuffed in the front, and he was being punched in his face. I didn't do anything when we were in the house because I did not know what had happened prior to me getting there. I helped push him out of the house. We got outside. I was going to my police vehicle, and he stopped, meaning Gregory Kwiatkowski, who was the officer. He stopped, spin Neil Mack around, put him in a chokehold. And I yelled to him, "Greg, you're choking him." And when he did not stop choking him, I grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck, and then he came up. He was in a crouch position. He came up and punched me in the face.
Wow, wow. And what happened after that?
Well, then I was not allowed to file criminal charges against Gregory Kwiatkowski. I became the target of the investigation, and then there were charges that were placed against me.
Now, why do you think they went after you instead of the officer who used excessive force back in 2006?
Well, I'm not sure who his godfather was in the police department, but someone was protecting him. So I really cannot tell you. I have ideas, but I couldn't tell you for sure. But what I do know is that, in April of this year, the judge overturned it, and he also quoted Martin Luther King saying, "It's always the right time to do the right thing." So all took 15 years, and in that 15 years, my children suffered. That is what caused me a lot of grief, is what my children had to go through. But today, there is a law in Buffalo, New York called Cariol's Law, which is in my name, that I wrote in 2015. So if I guess God chose me, then I guess it was something that I had to go through. So he turned that mess into a message.
And finally, destiny caught up with Gregory Kwiatkowski, the officer that assaulted you and assaulted the suspect as well. What happened in his case? What happened to him?
Well, he continued to beat on people. He was promoted. And then in I believe it was 2018, he went to jail. He went to jail. He had also choked a on-duty officer and fought an off-duty officer. And what he went to jail for was civil rights violations of 4 teen suspects, in which one of them was shot with a BB gun by an officer.
And that's what happens when you leave an officer who is out of control, without any following up with them, without doing anything to address their bad behavior. Now, you have essentially become an advocate around the country. This comes just in time with the George Floyd case. What we saw in George Floyd's case, many of us witnessed these officers standing around as Chauvin put his knee on the neck of George Floyd. And what enraged many people even more than seeing that act was seeing the officers who just stood around and turned a blind eye to this bad behavior. And back in 2006, you stood up, but they punished you for that, for trying to intervene. And now we're seeing laws all across the country to address this very issue. Are you glad to see now that the rest of the country is coming around, even though you had a long journey and you ended up paying for it with your family financially, being fired from the police department, eventually being reinstated in April of this year, or your termination being overturned in April of this year? Are you glad to see finally the country coming around to seeing what you did all those years ago was absolutely the right thing to do for a police officer?
Cariol's law needs to be a national law. The George Floyd Act needs to be passed. Even though we have these laws written, they need to be passed. We can't change people's hearts, but using those laws, we can get rid of bad officers. So I am glad that, it's sad that someone's life had to be taken in order for people to look at what needs to be done on the police department. Like I said, I wrote this back in 2015. Had this been passed, had this been a national law, then maybe George Floyd would be living today.
Absolutely. Well, Cariol, we're going to take a quick break and come back with you in just a moment to continue our conversation with you here on The Factor Uncensored. We'll be back after this commercial break. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're talking to former Buffalo police officer Cariol Horne, who was fired back in 2008 after intervening when she had a fellow officer go too far with a suspect. In that case, she caught that fellow officer punching a suspect, a handcuffed suspect, in the face multiple times. When she intervened, that officer punched her in the face, and she was eventually fired. This is something that we have been calling for all around the country. Cariol stood up back more than 14 years ago, and she was terminated as a result of standing up against a fellow officer. So, Cariol, do you think this is why more officers don't stand up to other officers? What you went through, were you a lesson for many back then, now that things are changing now?
Officers don't stand up because they don't want to lose their livelihood. And it was two incidents, one inside of the house in which he was being punched while he was handcuffed, and one outside of the house in which he was being choked while he was handcuffed. So it was two separate incidents, but they blurred it to make it seem as if it was one incident.
So it was truly excessive force in two different instances. Do you think this law that many are considering around the country will change the mentality of law enforcement officers around the country?
It will change the mentality of the good officers who want to do good, because it will be protection for them, so they won't be fired like I was. So it will change that mentality into where the good officers could point out the bad officers and get rid of them.
Do you think the problem is pervasive through law enforcement departments? Because you did what was right back in 2006, but the department, the city of Buffalo, still made you suffer for it. They punished you for it.
This is going on departments throughout the country. That is why I want Cariol's law to be a national law. So we have solutions. We just have to make our elected officials act upon them. Because when you're thirsty, you drink. When you're hungry, you eat. When we say stop killing us, Cariol's law, George Floyd Act. So we have to act upon those on a national level.
Now, you recently have become, not recently, but have become an advocate for police brutality, intervening with other law enforcement officers. How has that changed your life traveling around the country? Now you're here in Houston for the anniversary of George Floyd's death. How has the advocacy changed you?
I became really strong in advocacy or activism in 2011 when I saw it being done on a national level. And how well organized it was. That's when I became an activist and advocate. That's when I started understanding about how I could create change. And that is why I wrote the law. I just did not know how to get it passed back then. I went to several people who I thought could help me get it passed, elected officials, and it didn't happen. It was when I spoke with Terry Watson, who is the founder of Strategies for Justice, which is a speakers bureau that I'm on. He was the one that helped me write it in a way that it could be presented to be passed as a law. We all came together and pushed it as a law. So once we got the politicians to do it, I felt very empowered because at that point, I was just an average citizen. I wasn't a police officer and I wasn't a politician. But I got the politicians to do exactly what I wanted them to do, exactly what they were elected to do. And so now that I know that it can be done, I'm pushing for it to be a national law.
All right, Mrs. Horne, we want to thank you for joining us on The Factor Uncensored, and thank you for doing the right thing way back in 2006. If we had more officers like you, this place would be a better country and we would have incidents like George Floyd. Thank you for your time, man.